Hi friends, this is Patty Bennett. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to make the coolest card design today. Look at this super fun idea. I love this. I don't know if I had ever seen this before. I saw it somewhere a few months ago. I made a quick sketch on my desk, and then I decided I needed to make this with lots of pretty colors and lots of different papers and gorgeous colors of cardstock. And then I just wanted to share it with you. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're looking for these cards, they will be on my blog, pattystamps.com, on May, 23rd. That's where you will find them. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I will put a link in the description so that you can get to these cards if you would like to pin them or print them or save them or recreate them or shop for supplies or whatever you need. So pattystamps.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am celebrating 30 years in just a couple of weeks as a demonstrator, and I love to share creations with you. You've probably seen I do share a lot of flowers, but I love flowers. So that's what we're using today. This package of paper, let's see, what is this? It's called Florals Florals in Bloom. Okay, there's something else called Florals Abloom. This is Florals in Bloom, but you can use any patterns, any subject, whatever you'd like. And I'm going to show you how to make the card that opens this direction and also this direction. So do you see the difference there? They both flip up, but then one flips right and one flips left. So we're going to do that. And with some leftover pieces, I'm going to show you how to make a horizontal version that you can make as a pocket card, or it can open, or there are so many variations. This is really a cool card. So if you'd like to make this with me, you are going to need to grab an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and you're actually probably going to want 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And you're also going to need 2 pieces of 4 by 5.25 inch designer paper. And they don't have to be different, but I like mixing and matching patterns and colors. So I chose 2 different patterns from this pack. You could always do this with the same pattern, and you'll see as I create it how that would look. And then just depending on what paper you're using, think about the different possibilities of the colors of cardstock. For this example, I'm going to use Bubble Bath and Fresh Freesia because I felt that they were a nice coordination with this. But actually, let me show you this one. I love the way Granny Apple Green looks with this paper as well. So that's a great possibility. And you could also use Petunia Pop, Summer Splash. There's lots of possibilities. And then some of the patterns in this pack, like especially this one, look great with Strawberry Slush. So lots of possibilities. Just think about the different ways that you might want to create and make your cards. So for this first example, I'm going to use Fresh Freesia to show you how to cut and score. And I made some little guides. These will also be available to look at on my blog if you would like to pin them or print them or save them or whatever. So we'll go through those one by one, and I'll show you what I did. So the first thing we're going to do is to simply score this 8.5 by 11 in half both ways. So score at 4.25, score at 5.5. And I suppose if you're using a different size, I think this totally works. If you've got different size paper in a different country, as long as it's a rectangle and you score it in half both ways, you can still do this exact same card design, and it doesn't really matter what those measurements were, but half and half, okay? So that was step 1, just scoring it in half both ways. Step 2 is, now that it's scored both ways, we're just going to make this one diagonal cut. And we're going to cut away this upper triangle. For the sake of the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little pencil mark right here and right here. That is at the edge of the score where it meets the edge of the paper, and it's so that you can kind of see what I'm doing here as I'm cutting that. So I'm lining up that pencil mark at the score in my track and this pencil mark at the score in my track. And then with my cutting blade, I'm simply cutting away that upper triangle. So you can see that again. We just cut this away. But save this because this is going to make a different card, and I'm going to show you that. This is so fun. You won't believe how cool this design is to make these cards. So that's number 1 and number 2. So number 3, we've got this cut away. We're going to cut right here. So from the top just down to the center. And if it's helpful to you, you can do this as well. I'm going to put a little pencil mark. Good grief, kind of made like a check mark. Didn't mean to do that. Just a little pencil dot right in that center. Just if it helps you to see what you're doing, feel free to do that. I am going to cut from here down to that center mark. And on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer blade, there is a little line, so if you line that up with the score, you know you've gone to the right spot. Okay, so that was number 3. We already had this cut, and we just made this cut. And then our 4th and final cut is to cut from that center mark down to this corner. And this one is the only one that is like just a teeny tiny bit tricky, a little bit. But it's, I mean, it's totally doable. We're just going to put that point, yep, making sure you can see that point in the track. And then what I like to do is I am going to close my trimmer so that I can look right down in the center and I can see, I hope you can see that, I can see that little pencil mark that I made, the dot that is right at that center intersection, because I want to go from this point to there, or from there to the point, you know, whatever is easier for you. But I know that it's not always great to bring your blade right in contact with the point of the paper. So I put it right here in the center. I'm going to go up to that middle, and you can kind of feel when it meets that other cut mark. So I stopped, and then I'm just going to bring it down to that point. And so there you have this really odd shape. Isn't that like the craziest card shape? Let me take this trimmer away. Isn't this the craziest card shape you've ever seen? But it's so cool when it's all done. So you have 3 pieces. Okay, just keep standing up to look in the camera to make sure you can see it. And that's our 4th and final cut. You're going to take these 2 pieces away, but you're going to save them because we're going to make the horizontal. We're going to make this version with these 2 pieces. So save these, tuck them aside, don't get rid of them. And then I've actually done this with a second piece. So this was Fresh Freesia. This is Bubble Bath. So we have 2 of them. And I want to show you how to do 2 cards at once. So for this one, I folded in that triangle, used my bone folder to burnish the score, folded the flap down, and used my, bone folder, not triangle, bone folder, so that this one is flapping to the left and the top. So this one, just going to flip it over. Okay, that's all you need to do is flip it over. You don't have to worry about anything else, just turn it over. And we're going to fold this score mark in from the right into the center, and this one top down. So now do you see, this is what we have. We have 2 cards that are going to be nearly identical, except one folds left and one folds right. And the reason is when we grab our 4 by 5 1/4 inch designer paper, this is going to make 4 triangles, and I want to be able to make 2 cards all at once. So you can see one triangle's here and one triangle is here, but I didn't want to throw the other two away. So I found that if I simply flip it, then I have a second version. So you'll see as we cut this and as it goes together. But here's the important part. So you pick your two designs. They're both facing the right direction, but I'm going to take this one and flip it upside down so that they're back to back. And kind of like when you're sewing, you know, if you're sewing a seam or something and you put your fabric right side or back side together, it's kind of that idea. So again, you have your two pieces, flip one of them upside down, restack them, grab your trimmer, and we're going to cut on the diagonal from corner to corner in the trimmer. But remember what I said about not bringing our trimmer blade right up against a point. So I'm going to start my trimmer blade somewhere in the, well, it's not the middle, but inside here. And then I'm going to go up to that point and down to that point. Okay, then I'll show you what happens. Kind of almost need more than two hands. Okay, I'm trying here. So this one's going to go here. And then I'm going to flip this one over and use that one on the other card. You really do need more than two hands to demonstrate this. And then this one is going to go on this card, and this one will go on this card. So just trust me. If that sounded confusing, just trust me that it works. So the only thing you need to be mindful of is that the two pieces of cardstock that you cut coordinate with the two patterns of paper that you're using. So I'm just going to quickly glue these on and show you how these look, and then we'll move on to the horizontal card and I'll show you how that one works. Got a little extra glue there. I did find that on the inside of this card, what I really liked was, oh, I probably should have opened a new glue. What I really liked was the largest shape. Well, it's a rectangle, but the largest of the rectangles from the, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of these. My poor brain. Hang on, it's right behind me. Textured Notes dies. So this largest one, it has this really nice edge, detailed edge, and it's sized to fit perfectly inside of a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. And I found that I really liked the way that looked instead of just a regular piece of cardstock, but you could totally use a plain piece of cardstock. The perennial postage dies would also look fantastic in here. And by the way, if you don't have the textured notes dies, hang on, I'm just looking for my little inspiration sampler. So this is what those textured notes dies look like. I used the largest one right there in the middle, and then you can see they're graduated down in size, plus 2 label size. And that is number 165555. If you don't have that, these are, well, for me, they're a must. I use them so often. I love them. So that is going to be one version. And we'll quickly glue these on and see how it looks when your two patterns are opposite of each other. How pretty. I just love every single pattern in this pack. My goodness. Stampin' Up! Just really made a gorgeous pack of floral paper. So pretty. And then I'll take another one of these note dies. Oh dear. Just get me through this video, glue. Okay, so there you go. So you have one version that flaps up and left, and this version that flaps up and right. But you have used all four of those triangles that you cut. Isn't that so cool? And then if you decorate this, what I found I liked was taking some kind of a die cut shape and just attaching it to that top triangle flap so that it looks like it's in the middle of your card, but then you lift it up and there it is. It's only attached there, and you have the inside to either decorate or write a note or stamp something else in. And then here's the same kind of idea with the one that flips up and the other direction. It's still just simply attached. Just a triangle of it is attached to that triangle. So just part of it is attached. So that is kind of how I decorated those two versions. Now, if you would like to use up, and I recommend that you do, if you would like to use up those other pieces that you had, you're going to have the bottom portion here plus a triangle, and if you overlap it, there you go. You have a pocket card. But I'll show you a couple of different ways that you might want to make this. The difference in this version then is that your designer paper needs to be cut the other direction. So I am going to grab my trimmer and show you what I mean. Going to use the same two patterns. Okay, the same two patterns, but instead of cutting a 4-inch strip and then cutting them at 5 1/4 this way, I need to cut a 4-inch strip this direction. Five and a quarter. Sorry, just lining those up. I'm cutting them at the same time, so I'm just lining them up, making sure. And then we're going to cut this on the diagonal, but same thing applies where you need to flip one of them so that they are back to back. And then you can see that your pattern is going horizontal instead of vertical like we did for the first two cards. So we will cut on the diagonal again, point in the, or corner in the track, corner in the track, put the blade in the center somewhere and go towards each corner. So now we have the patterns that, oh my gosh, I did that. Did I do that the wrong? No, I didn't do it the wrong way. I think I've got this. Hang on. So this one's going to go this way, and this one's going this one's going to go this way. And I want to show you two different ways that you could do this card. So let's see. This one, you see I've sealed the entire thing up and I've made it a pocket card. And this is that next size smaller of those textured notes dies, and that slips in there, or you could cut cardstock. Or you can let the piece that's still attached flip open, and you can just attach this triangle down to the card base. So I'm going to start with that and just show you what I mean. So let's get the paper, the designer paper, hang on here first. And this one over here. I really love how just starting with, sorry, just starting with this one crazy pattern, you can actually make 2 or 3 or 4 cards out of this. Just like I said, just depends how far you kind of want to go with this. Now I'm going to grab my tear and tape because I feel like that gives you the best seal when you're making a pocket card. And I'm going to do a piece across the bottom, that long edge, and then the short edge. And when you are using tear and tape, I don't know if you do this, but I do. I use my bone folder and I really burnish it down. And then I have an old pokey tool that I don't mind if it gets some, a little bit of adhesive on it. And I peel up those 2 strips. And for me, that is the easiest way to deal with tear and tape. So for this one, I'm just going to line up that corner and then along the bottom and along the side. Again, burnish that. And then that will become your pocket. I have another one of those textured note dies, the one size smaller than this card. And that can be your pocket. So now this one can either flap open if you want, or you can use your tear and tape right down here and you can seal that up so that it becomes just a pocket like this. So that one has a different possibility. You know, I was just thinking, you could do that with this. You could seal this edge and make this a pocket and then flap this up and down. So there's one more possibility. I didn't even think of that till just now. So that's an even, I don't know, what is that, card number 5 or 6? There's actually so many unlimited possibilities with this design. I just think this is the coolest. So that is how you make those. And I'll just run through these real quick if you want to see some of the finished ones. I just love decorating them with like a larger greeting and some either stamped or die cut flowers. I used that tab punch to put a little tab on the top of that, just kind of to indicate to someone to pull. I think that's kind of like a visual clue to most people that they would need to pull it. So here is one with some beautiful die cut flowers. Isn't that beautiful? So on this one, I actually have the side flap as my top flap. You might have remembered on this, I had the top flap as the top flap. So again, there's a different possibility. There's a lot of different ways to make this, isn't there? So this one has the focal point glued to that top flap. And that is bubble bath cardstock on that one. This one, really cute for a birthday card. That one is in Fresh Freesia. I really liked adding these pretty flowers to this one with kind of matching, I'm not sure. Are those hollyhocks? I think they might be. I don't know, they might be something else. Snapdragons, maybe? They could be whatever you want. But I sort of mimicked the paper with the stamp on this one. And then this is actually a different package of paper. I just wanted to play with a few different things. And so I just came up with some other colors with other papers and possibilities. Oh, my tear and tape just stuck to this card. So then here is another one where the top of the horizontal one flaps open and it makes a cute little pocket in here with that diagonal. So friends, so many possibilities. Aren't these fun and amazing? I just love playing with all the different ideas, and I don't know, I think they're so much fun. Some of the flowers I shared are from Impressions of Bloom. And I'm just looking for my other sampler. I had it tucked away over here because I was using it for my cruise projects. Here it is. Oh, no, that's a different sampler. Well, my goodness. Okay, well, my other sampler is having a holiday somewhere. I don't know where that one went. But anyway, this one were some of the flowers that we've gone over before in previous videos, and you can see how I used them in the cards. So I hope you will enjoy playing with this idea and making all different possibilities. Doesn't have to be flowers. You know, use other paper and use other colors, themes, holidays, whatever you'd like, and then just keep going and make you know, your left fold and your right fold and your horizontal fold and your pocket card and all different ways that you can make this card. Hope you enjoyed it, friends, and I will see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day.